very quickly talk about the Kanban way of working. See, Kanban is another, so I'm going to take like another 10 minutes to cover these other mindsets. Kanban is, unlike Scrum, where you break down the backlog into smaller sets or subsets, and you execute that subset that you term as iteration or a sprint within that within that space. And after every iteration, you are going to get some part of the product ready, which is termed as an increment. Kanban promotes the idea of the agile while not working in an incremental manner. It considers the whole project together on one screen. It gives the visibility and visualization of the whole scope of work for that project on one screen, and it gives you a visibility that what items from that backlog has been done, what items have not been started, what items are still like they are started but they are pending approval, they are blocked, they are pending on other teams. Like, so it's about not breaking the backlog into smaller chunks. It's about considering that all together, but via workflow, you give that visibility to the team that where we are standing with respect to the whole work. So this is a very good representation of Kanban. Again, that 4 manifesto items apply over here. We can accept changes in Kanban as well. We can we are still focused on the productivity. We are still focused on customer collaboration. However, we are not doing it by breaking it down into smaller iterations. We are rather talking about whatever we want to do in the backlog. Again, changes are welcome in the backlog, and you define states, different states. Right? For instance, the minimum states that are needed is to do, in progress, and done. But you can have as many states as you want. Like I said, we can have blocked state to provide more visibility on the items which is not pending on you as a team. It's blocked on someone else. Maybe it's probably approved state, right? You may have QA state. You may have probably document approval state kind of thing. You may have as many states as you want, right, in the Kanban. And let me first finish, and then I will take your questions. I know you guys may have questions about Kanban. So the item from the backlog move from state to state. So it goes to the to-do first, then in progress first, then testing first, then done, if it is done. And once it is done, you will have the visibility that, okay, we were supposed to be doing 100 backlog items, out of which probably 20 are done, 30 are in testing, another 20 are in progress, and maybe 30 are still not started, right? This is a visibility. How you can implement this Kanban board? You can have a physical whiteboard. You can have an e-board. Trello is a very well-known tool for Kanban implementation. Jira also has a Kanban implementation as well. So the very common question is, what's the difference between Scrum and Kanban? The difference is that you break down the Scrum project's scope into releases and enter into iterations, and you run or plan or execute each of the iteration within a release via workflow, right? This is not the case in Kanban. You have a whole project backlog in Kanban, and you directly pull the items from the backlog based on the priority defined by the customer. Of course, the customer is going to be involved in that. The backlog is going to be coming from the customer. And you keep on doing, like doing or not doing based on the priority, and verifying and validated and marked is at done. Okay? So What is the best, use case for Kanban? Support teams use Kanban. Every kind of support teams use Kanban. Application support, customer support, product support, every kind of support team can use Kanban board. It's an effortless way of presenting everything on one screen, right? Then small to mid-scale project teams also may use Kanban boards very effectively. Not large-scale projects or complex projects, because you are expected to visualize everything on one screen. If you have a big project backlog or like continuously going product or something, in that case, whole product probably can't be represented on one Kanban board effectively. If you want to break it down into like multiple phases or multiple pieces, and you want to represent each of the piece on one Kanban board, then that's fine. However, don't do it like for a big or large scale complex projects on a Kanban board, because that's not an effective way. So small to mid scale projects means like people like teams with 1 to 2 members, projects of 2 to 3 months, right? Kind of projects are very, very effectively done on this representation. So that's the Kanban, and there is also another way, which is Scrum Ban. So Scrum Ban is a merger of Scrum and Kanban in a way that within a Scrum, you can run a Kanban board as well. And usually in the Scrum Ban, the Scrum size is like it can be more than the usual length of suggested size, which is 1 month. So if you want to talk more about it, we can do that, but offline, because Scrum Ban is not really included in the scope of work. However, if you have got any questions for me for Scrum, do let me. But one by one, who wants to ask first? Nobody wants to ask? Yes, SN, please.
So you said that we don't break down the stories. So how do we track our progress in Kanban? Because in Scrum we have different sprint, and one sprint is gone and the work is gone. So I'm seeing that Kanban is more likely a traditional logic that we are following, because one of the functionality that they pick up from the backlog, they follow the waterfall model to complete it and make it done.
Not really. I could expect this question, but not really. See, what is waterfall? Waterfall is, for instance, like the same project. Waterfall is 100 deliverables or 100 functionalities is delivered in one go by the end of the project, right? This is waterfall, right? Agreed? That's waterfall. Kanban is those 100 are they are jotted down over here in the backlog, and they may change as well. Like as per the agile mindset, that 100 may become 120, that 100 may become 80, that 100 may become 150. That depends, right? As per the agreement, which is not the case in predictive. This 100, first of all, are documented over here. They are pulled from backlog based on the priority defined again from your customer, and they are moving from here to here to here with a visibility. And once item number 1, for instance, is done, it's marked as done over here, right? Customer doesn't have to wait for the end of the project to get all 100 functionalities completed and delivered in one. The items are going to be worked upon, and they are going to be marked as done, and they are going to be delivered to the customers. Customers will have the access to that product, to that piece of the product which is marked as done. Right? This is the beauty of this this model. So it's not. It may be looking to you as predictive way of working, but it's not. you are delivering it as you are working up. And that's the reason why you don't go for the Kanban way of working when you do not really want, or you can't really give that visibility to the customer, even when you are done with that. I mean, if the customer is okay that, okay, this much work is done, even if it is not usable logically, but at least this much is done, and we can have some demo, or we can have some look of it. Maybe we are not in a position to use that in the real system, then you can go with Kanban. But if customer is okay that no, you just do it all together, and you just involve us only when the complete work is done, maybe via demos. And by the way, for the Kanban way of working, demos can happen anytime, whenever customer wants. And maybe the demo can be done for each of the item which is marked as done. So there is no hard and fast. But customer involvement and customer engagement is there. These items are coming and pulled in alignment with customers, right? And they are handed over to the customers when they are done. They are not using it, or they are using it, that depends on that. But customer involvement and collaboration is still there. Make sense? Yes, Amat, please go with your question.
Tuma, my question is that if customer can ask for demo anytime, then there should be some in the sprint, we have a sprint retro, sprint review in which we interact with the customer. In Kanban, do we also have the sprint review, or the customer can ask for demonstration of the status anytime?
Anytime, and it makes a logical sense that now, it makes a logical sense that some part of the backlog is completed, and it's logical to have a demo. They can have the demo. Like I said, after every backlog item is done, they can have a short demo. A demo is not necessarily, like a hard and fast demo. It can be a video-based demo as well, right? In case of Kanban.
And okay, and there are sorry. From the product backlog to the to-do state, there are only epics, no user stories. You can say a high-level requirements.
No, the item. So I have not really talked about that in today's class, but we are going to do that. So for instance, this is one item, right? This item is written in some manner, and that manner is user story. So you are going to write it in the user story manner. That is going to be same. How the backlog items are going to be written, how the backlog items are going to be categorized, how the backlog items are going to be changed or accommodated with more features and more items. All of that is same as in the case with Scrum. The only thing is that we are not breaking down this backlog into sprints. We are considering it all in one code via these sprints. And these states actually give you the visibility that where we are standing as a team with respect to the completion and with respect to the remaining work.
Okay, and is there any limit for the work that in to do there are, say, I can have maximum 20 user stories in progress?
Yes.
And more than 20?
Depending on the team bandwidth that you have. For instance, at a particular point in time, you don't want to keep more than 3 items. So you can keep a minimum limit of 3, a maximum limit of, for instance, 5. That more than 5 items at a particular point in time and less than 3 items are not going to be there. So the Kanban boards are they have this functionality, and that can be applied to other states as well.
Okay.
But definitely for input.
Thank you.
Any other questions with respect to Kanban? You are not going to get too many questions in the exam with respect to Kanban, but you should be knowing what Kanban way of working is, because maybe after today's class, we are not going to speak about Kanban anymore. We are going to speak only about Scrum in detail. But for the exam, Kanban is not needed. Neither lean is needed or extreme programming is needed. However, briefly, you should be aware of that. Especially Kanban is very much needed in the practical world.
So, Tooba, I have a question.
Yes.
To put work limit on work in progress is desired for with the intent of not overloading the team, right? That we don't want everything in progress. We are doing 100 points at once.
Yes. Yes. You don't, if you don't want to overwhelm the team, or maybe realistically, team, for instance, if team members in the Kanban project usually they are lower in number. So, for instance, team members are only 2, and based on their skill set and expertise, that they can't take more than 5 items collectively in one go, and less than 3 items is also not realistic for those 2 members. So, you just put that limit, right? Because keeping everything in progress to show that, see, we are working on everything, it's not a realistic way of visualizing the process. That's going to be a wrong representation. Any other questions? So Rashid is saying that, can we tie Kanban to the milestone based demo? Yes, sort of. You can say it, because when logically it makes sense to sit in a demo, only then customer will want to sit in that demo, and there is no hard and fast checkpoints for demo. They can ask for demo anytime. Okay, so this is about Kanban.